September 11th, we watched in horror as one of the most terrifying crimes was committed against the nation. It was a hate crime committed against the people of America. In that unforgettable moment, we all felt the pain of being the target of hate and the terror and helplessness of being a victim. Sadly, in the weeks that followed the attacks, some Americans chose to respond by committing hate crimes of their own against those they perceived to be responsible for the attacks.
We are a nation of immigrants. We all come from somewhere else. If the freedom and safety of Arab Americans becomes at risk because of the perverse and twisted acts of a few, then the freedom of all of us is at risk.
I'm Phil Ponce, and we're here to discuss hate crime, to understand it, to understand the consequences of committing it, and hopefully to do our part to eliminate it. Our audience is made up of students from all over the Chicagoland area. We're also joined by a panel of experts from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office to address any legal questions. From left to right, we have Neera Walsh, Supervisor of the Community Prosecutions Division. Theo Jameson, Supervisor of the Juvenile Justice Bureau. Nicole Kramer, Hate Crimes Victim Witness Specialist. And Dr. George E. Smith, noted child psychologist. Stay with us for this very important program.
Being in high school is hard enough without somebody coming down on you because of who you are or what you believe in.
According to FBI Statistics 2000 report, youths under 21 of age committed 50% of the reported hate crimes in America. Do you know what a hate crime is? Let's ask our panel from State's Attorney Dick Devine's office for a legal definition.
In Illinois, the legislature has defined hate crime as an attack upon a person or his or her property based on the person's race, color, creed, religion, ancestry, gender, national origin, physical or mental disability, or sexual orientation.
Let's watch a dramatization of a hate crime, and although these may be actors that you're going to see, the storyline is very real.
Hi, Mom. My first day was okay. It's a little different, but I'll be fine. I'll be home soon.
Hey, you don't belong here. Why don't you go back to the hood? Yeah. Don't walk away when I'm talking to you.
Who do you think you are? I belong here just as much as you do.
Let me ask our panel, if you commit a hate crime, what exactly can happen to you?
Well, many people don't realize, but a hate crime is, in fact, a felony. And there are very serious consequences that are attached to that. And also, the law in the state of Illinois designates you as an adult when you are 17 years old, not 18 like a lot of people think. And for those of you who are 16 years old or even younger, there are still very, very serious consequences that can occur if you commit a hate crime.
So you're saying that a high school student can be arrested?
Yes, and we have a videotape to show you the arrest process.
Robert Smith? Robert Smith, turn around, put your hands in the locker. Robert, turn around, put your hands in the locker. What I do, sir? Ma'am, please step back.
An officer arrives on the scene and takes the offender into custody by handcuffing and frisking them. Handcuffing is standard procedure.
Robert, do you have anything on you? No, sir. Any guns, knives, weapons? I'm gonna check, okay? Sorry. Just relax. Why am I being arrested? Man, I ain't do nothing. I ain't do nothing. Something you're not telling me. I told you everything.
The officer will read the offender his or her rights and then proceed to the police station.
understand you have the right to remain silent? Understand that anything you say can't be used against you in court. Okay, Robert, let's go to the police station.
This arrest procedure is the same regardless of race, color, or gender. Offenders are taken to a detention area where he or she may remain handcuffed.
Take everything out of your product.
Here in the detention area, offenders are subjected to a thorough search with their personal possessions confiscated and inventoried.
Shake out your shoes for me.
When offenders are arrested, they may be asked to remove certain articles of clothing, including socks, shoelaces, and belts.
Okay. Right hand.
The offender will then be taken and fingerprinted, and their prints entered into a database. A photograph or mugshot is also taken.
Okay, turn, face the wall.
Juveniles 16 and under can be taken to a detention holding area.
Have a seat.
Those 17 and over are locked in a cell until taken to court.
Go to court in the morning.
And all this can happen over a fight in a school if race, color, religion, or sexual orientation is the cause?
Yes, and there are more consequences that students or their parents might not realize.
We're discussing hate crime from a high school point of view, and we'll be right back.
What's happening? We're Eddie and Jobo, the Killer Bee Morning Guys. We're the morning show that says no to hate.
Hey, when we do our show in the morning, it's all about fun. And that's what high school should be for you guys, a lot of fun.
Now, what do we always say on our show? Doesn't matter if you're young, old, gay, straight, city, suburban, black, white, rich, poor, Hispanic, Jewish, Catholic, it doesn't matter. The best thing is to respect the differences in all of us.
So let's all step forward and
stop the hate.
Some of my friends are gay and they've been hurt because of who they are, and it's not right.
On October 6, 1998, 21-year-old college student Matthew Shepard was tied to a fence in Laramie, Wyoming, pistol whipped and left for dead in the freezing night. He died 6 days later. All this because of his sexual orientation. Let's watch an example of a high school hate crime based on sexual orientation.
What's the matter, sweet boy? Does the truth hurt?
The only good queer is a dead queer.
Hey, man. That was great, man. Hey, we got him. What he deserves.
Yeah, we got him.
You little faggot. We got you now, kid.
Nicole, given your experience, is this a growing problem with young people today?
What we see is that young people go along with the crowd in an attempt to fit in or appear macho. Targeting gays and lesbians appears to be a rite of passage for some young people, and sometimes it rises to the level of a hate crime.
Why is that?
Oftentimes, one of the worst things for young people to be is different. Bias and hatreds towards gays and lesbians is the most socially accepted form of bias. Young people learn this at the dinner table, watching television, and listening to popular music. Name-calling and targeting people who seem to be different has become a way to prove someone's place in normal society. Young people who target gays and lesbians often don't feel what they're doing is committing a crime. They think they're doing what everybody else does.
So we've seen before that conformity and rites of passage can be causes of it. But want to know if it's possible that class conflict could also be a cause of hate crime among young people and just people in general?
There can be a variety of reasons for hate crimes. It can be due to cultural differences, it can be due to racial differences, sexual differences, age discrimination, sexual biases. So there can be a variety of different things. I think there's a difference between rites of passage and boys just being boys and girls being girls. But when you begin to inflict your views and values in a physical or emotional way on others, it's wrong.
Nira, some people might look at that dramatization of what happened in the locker room as an example of boys just being boys. How do you respond to that?
In the video that we just saw, Phil, the crime committed was a battery because of the unlawful contact between the offender and the victim. But it's also a hate crime because the offender targeted the victim because of his actual or perceived sexual orientation.
Dr. Smith, from a victim's point of view, what are some other aspects of hate crimes that we haven't discussed yet?
Hate crimes can be devastating and have long-term effects. Research indicates that it could take up to 5 years for a person to heal emotionally from these types of incidents. What one might view as something as just being playful or harmless might have devastating effects on others. And as a result of that, it can have some long-term effects.
What kinds of long-term effects?
Inability to focus, low self-esteem, feeling of isolation, even forms of depression.
And it can take a while, you say, to get over that.
Absolutely, because a lot of times you'll push individuals into social isolation.
So, Nira, what should a person do if they're a victim of a hate crime?
First thing is to report the crime immediately. Talk to the police and tell them what happened. The next thing is to document the incident. That is, tell the police the who, what, when, and where of what happened. Tell them exactly what was said. Write down what was said and who did what. Take pictures. Save the evidence. At the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, we take hate crimes very seriously, and we will prosecute every viable crime.
Nira, what if a person is reluctant to do that? They just don't want to create a fuss. They don't want to put themselves through it. What advice do you have for them?
If people don't stand up for themselves, no one else is going to stand up for them. But know that the police are trained to understand these types of cases, and the State's Attorney's Office will prosecute these cases, and we will listen to what has happened to you.
Thank you, Nira, and we'll be right back.
Kids sometimes get caught up in peer pressure. I know, I remember being a kid. There you are, you're alone, you know to do exactly what you're supposed to do. But when there's a group of you, you might do something that you wouldn't normally do. And most hate crimes are committed by groups of kids. So kids, I'm asking you, take responsibility for your own actions. Stop the hate.
I've been called names because of my religion, and it hurts.
According to a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center, found on their website, www.tolerance.org, every hour someone commits a hate crime in America. Every day, 8 blacks, 3 whites, 3 gays, 3 Jews, and 1 Latino become hate crime victims. And according to a poll taken by the Chicago Sun-Times right after 9/11, dated October 12, 2001, 1 in 5 Arab Americans said they experienced bias. It seems from these statistics that anyone can be a victim of a hate crime, and Nira, anyone can be an offender.
That's true. When it comes to hate crime, no one is safe.
And we have another comment.
In my incident, I was threatened and almost inflicted with getting beaten up a few weeks after September 11th, and the teacher really didn't do much besides say stop to the kids. So are there any other ways that kids can speak out and not get ridiculed, or just saying that, oh, those are just kids, they're not really doing anything?
Your concerns should be taken seriously by the teachers or another adult. You should tell another adult. You should report it to the police also. Make a documentation of what happened. Who said it? Who else was there? Where did this happen and when did this happen? So if the person that you went to first doesn't take you seriously as to what your concerns are, go to another adult. But you need to report it to the police also.
One of the things that they constantly talk about, the reason that people do not report these types of incidents is because they feel that individuals are not going to do anything. If nothing is reported, then nothing can be done. if you go to one source and that source does not follow through. You make sure your parents are involved in this process and they can begin to go to the various reporting sources. But you can't be silent. You've got to talk about it, you've got to speak up. That's the key in order to stop these types of behaviors.
Don't take their inaction as a no. Don't take no for an action. You must step up for yourselves and for your friends, for your brothers and your sisters, and report these kinds of crimes that are being perpetrated against you and your friends, brothers and sisters.
And if you're fearful of going to the authorities, there are advocacy groups out there in all sorts of communities that may be able to help you and be with you as you go to the police or to other authorities to report it, to help you in the process, to give you support.
Doesn't the First Amendment allow you to say whatever you want?
The First Amendment does allow you to speak what you'd like to talk about. However, the First Amendment does not protect your actions, and the hate crime statute will prosecute you for your actions, not your thoughts. It is your motivation for committing those acts. So if your actions were based on an illegal motivation, that is to hurt somebody because of those characteristics of religion or race or national ancestry or sexual orientation, that is why you would be prosecuted, not because of your thoughts.
Well, what you think of as a prank or joke is actually something that's very serious that could end up costing you or your family thousands of dollars in legal fees, and it's very possible that you could end up in jail. Also, it doesn't end there. On top of the money that you're going to end up spending to defend yourself, the Illinois Hate Crime Act, as well as other laws in the state of Illinois, gives the victim the right to sue you and your parents. And there's something else. A felony is a very serious matter. It may keep you from joining the armed forces, keep you from becoming a police officer or a fireman. It may keep you out of certain schools or colleges, and it will have or may have a very devastating effect on any other kind of career that you may decide to embark on as you get older.
We'll be right back.
Benito Juárez once said, "El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. Respect for others brings peace. Stop the hate. We all belong to the same race, the human race. Stop the hate."
And I understand there's some questions for the panel.
Do you think there's any correlation between gang violence and hate crime?
I think a lot of times individuals who are involved in mob-type activity or gang-type activity, individually they would not act. But because they've got support and then you've got other individuals who are somewhat insecure and their followers are not leaders, they will then react to that person that's the leader. And I think that in that correlation, yes, there's a relationship. But I think that the violence of gangs carry a lot of other connotations.
Hate crimes in America are not only committed by organized hate groups, but by everyday people, people acting alone.
And we have another question.
Based on your previous knowledge and research, what is the prevalent cause or motivation of a hate crime?
Most of it's due to just people not being able to accept individual differences of people, and a lot of it's due to ignorance. And because of that, they want to make it appear that their insecurities might be another person's shortcomings, and so they do a lot of transference.
We hope this program has informed you of the consequences of committing a hate crime and of the serious physical and emotional toll it can take not just on the victims, but on communities as a whole. And before we end, we have a special message from Cook County State's Attorney Dick Devine. Let's roll that tape.
Hate can rear its ugly head when a swastika is painted on a synagogue or a mosque is vandalized. We can sandblast away the swastika from the synagogue, and we can repair the damage to the mosque. But it's much harder to repair the damage to our community. For hate crimes are an attack on our community. And long after the physical evidence is removed, scars remain. As prosecutor, it's our job to make sure that those who commit hate crimes are held responsible, and we are committed to doing just that. My message today is that hate crimes will never be tolerated in our community. never.
We hope you'll take back some of the things you've learned today. Take them back to your schools. We're going to close with some of your final comments. And lastly, thank you for being here today.
I feel that only through awareness and education about the problems that exist in our society today that we can fully prevent and have an understanding of what's going on in our own world.
I feel that you need to get involved because if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. If we can stop high school hate crime, then maybe we have a chance of putting this country back together again.
I feel sorry for the Arab community and all the hate that they're facing because they're all Americans too.
With what's going on in the world today, all this hatred and stuff, it all begins with us. It could all start here by not hating each other as fellow Americans. It could lead to peace.
I believe that ignorance is the root cause of hate crimes, but knowledge is the key to stopping them.
I feel as though that we're all Americans and we should all have the American dream.